Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I thought in this quick video I just wanted to show you my progress on underseal removal. I thought I'd give myself a little break from the welding after we got that last panel in the last video, and do a little bit more investigating and make sure we're not going to miss anything. You know, there might be tiny little rust holes hidden under underseal and seam sealer. I don't want to get too far along on the welding and think, oh, I'm all good in that area, and then come back and find there's more damage, which I'll get you in closer. I'll show you what I've found, but generally it's been pretty good. This is obviously the under tank area. We've got a little pitting under here, but nothing that's broken through or anything. I've used a really aggressive wire brush on the grinder. Like this one, I got the 4.5 inch one, and they're immensely effective, but absolutely make sure you got a face mask on, because these little wires can fly out and that'll really ruin your day, that will. And also very heavy duty gloves as well, because you know, when you're moving around in all these different positions and you know, piss around, you get, you know, because I can't put a guard on this one, you get close to this, and I tell you, if this touches your skin, it'll tear it to pieces within a split second. So I've caught a finger occasionally on these, but I tend to hold it way back and palm this kind of action. So be very cautious with this thing, and really heavy. These are heavy duty welding gloves, and as I say, the essential for the eye protection. This is underside where the tank is. I say there's a little pitting under here, but nothing that's broken through and nothing that needs cutting out or anything that serious. The shield, the heat shield that's under here, broke a mount up the top here from the shield. Now I could repair that, but that's the beauty of my parts guard. I've got a perfectly good shield on that parts guard out there, and got minimal sealant on it. I'll just clean it up and paint it and bolt that one on, put heat-proof paint on it and all that. So that's a bonus. See, these exhaust hangers here, these were a little concern of mine, that on these mounts, because that's a real tight corner area there where moisture can get in, and if it does rust through, then you've got to remove the mount itself, repair it, and then put the mount back, which is a little bit of a pain. But they're all good, which is really nice. I've really thoroughly checked these. So I got in as close with the wire brush, then I played some heat in here, and then I used my needle scaler. A steep angle like this, or shallow angle I should say, and it just carved in there. And also with this needle scaler, it puts little scratches in the metal, which is great for adhesion for the epoxy primer later on. So that is awesome for the really tight spaces. On the air machine, I switch also to one of these. This is really worn out now. One of these more, you know, cone type wire. They're really good for right in the corners, digging around, getting in as much as possible. And then the final one I use, again with proper gloves, is this guy, this more cut type one, and these come in various aggression. I use the fairly aggressive ones, and they're great for the broader surfaces. So all of this has been really good. I'll blow this off and you can see how clean it is in just a second. But what I did find, let me get the camera off and I'll show you what I did find that needs repairing. Now, as you know, we've pretty much taken care of this box section. That white paint there is that covering where I put that patch in. Yeah, that's my patch area. And this is all lovely and solid. This is the back side of the sway bar mount at the rear that I back welded as well. Left it a little proud for strength because that gets all hidden as well. So working our way up this section, all of the tight corners. Now let me show you what you're trying to get down to is that where you see the tabs right into the corner. I've got to dig all that. There's a little bit of seam sealer there, so I want to check all these little corners here. You see all of that, get all that clean, and the heat really does well for that. So that's all clean all the way up. Another mount I've got to check and make sure it's good, which it does look good. But see up here, see a box section here, and then of course some rot out here. I was aware of this, so I'm going to investigate a little deeper, but it's just this area This, I've seen my scratches of the needle scale. I've done some investigation now, and this is all really nice and solid. So is this. So this is going to require cutting out and putting a tab on and reattaching. A little bit of an awkward one, but I'll spin the car the other way so I can get to that guy. So not too bad really. So essentially from this point behind, we're all really good. And what I'm doing, because this is exposing bare metal, I'm not ready to epoxy primer just yet. I'm treating it with what's called an acid etch, which kills any of this and removes any of this surface rust, and also leaves a phosphor coating on it so it won't rust. So I don't have to worry about flash rusting. Also, another reason I'm doing this is to get a clean surface so it looks better and it picks you up, you know, because when you're looking at all the undersides all grimy and greasy for so long, it can kind of, you go, oh man, you know, it's a real big mountain to climb. But when you do stuff like this, which I actually don't mind doing this kind of stuff, because you see your progress pretty quick. I've been messing around with this for just a couple of hours, and all of a sudden you got back to bare metal and it's looking really nice. So it's really kind of a pick-me-up, because I do furniture for a living, as some of you might know, antique restoration, and furniture looks like crap for a long time until it doesn't. As soon as you put stain on, finish, boom boom, and in a very short period of time it's starting to look great, you know. So same thing with this, it looks like crap for a long time until it doesn't. As I say, this is really dirty work, and the floor is absolutely covered in this stuff, so be prepared. Probably best, ideally, this should have been wheeled outside and done outside, and I'll probably do that in time. But we went to the soul crushing Costco today, and I wanted to come back and kind of get into something fun. So just give you an idea of how thick this stuff is. See, this is a corner section, okay, that I dug out as a solid lump from one of the corners at the back here. And look at that, that's nearly like a centimetre thick or more of seam sealer. And you can imagine if moisture gets in behind here, there's no way you're going to see, especially with all the paint and all the dirt and stuff over the top, there's no way you're going to see whether the car's got rust or not. So that's the thing with this stuff, and this is just the seam sealer and probably part of the underseal as well. So anyway, look at the thickness of that stuff. Anyway, so we've got our acid etch here, and I use, this is a red Scotch Brite pad, and so we've done all this down here yesterday, so I'll just show you how I do it. So give it a good generous soaking, all the bare metal that you've been working. Kind of smells like rotten eggs. It's a pretty strong smell actually, so get it all good soaking now, and then whew, put a mask on really, to be honest with you. And then just break the surface tension, because it kind of needs punching in and scrubbing in to all the little corners and pit holes of the rust. Concentrating on that pitted area there, make sure that all the valleys, you know, of the pits are treated. It's just a little bad here, this is just not so bad. So get all that in there. And then what happens, it takes on a kind of a flat grey look, you know. Then you've got a phosphor coating on there that will stop it from flash rusting while you're doing other work, so then you can come back and then do your epoxy primer. So as I say, this does need cleaning before you do that, so there's no risk of any reaction. And a bit low on this. And you'll see the rust actually, you'll see it kind of start streaking off. Just wipe the surface off, just kind of spread it around, and that'll leave a coating on there. Now you don't have to worry about all this area from, as I say, flash rusting. We're in a pretty dry area here in Northern California, so we're pretty lucky. But if you were in sort of like Florida or something like that, humid areas, you know, I'm going to extra treat tomorrow, I'll do that, but extra treat all the corners, maybe even get a stiff brass brush to sort of work it into all the pores, you know. This is a sort of time, this is kind of fun stuff really, because you get to, you know, you're putting your groundwork in to guarantee success for the primer and then subsequent top coats and all that good stuff. So So I just thought I'd give you a little demo of just this small area here and how quickly it comes off. So and then I give it a little spray with a brake cleaner, pull off all the old crap, you know, a little bit of grease and stuff like that. Then I'll treat it with the acid etch to preserve it. I'm not doing all up here because I'm going to rotate the vehicle round and also repair this section here that got rusted out. So it gives you an idea. I'll get you in close and you'll see all the little details here. You can see these are the two drive shaft mounts depending on the configuration of the car as far as a long body or not, you know, depending on what one you need. So that's for the center donut. And what else we see? Here's our central expansion joint here, you know, again for 4 inches for the extended car, and this is the area we've got to clean. So I'm going to give this now a little bit of acid etch, and then I think we're done with this video. Gives you an idea. This is after acid etch on this. I don't know whether you can see it's got a kind of a grey coating on it now. Anyway, I think that's about it now. I've got to knock it on the head because I'm making a bit of noise. Especially when the compressor kicks on. I don't like to bother the neighbours. It's getting about, it's already about 7:30, 7:45 now. So I'm going to go and have a cup of tea, and I will see you in the next one, guys. And I haven't forgotten, I think Alan asked me to do a video on how to stay motivated on a project of this size. And I've got a few ideas have been rolling around. I want to sort of compile it so it makes sense to you on my essentially mind exercises to keep going and keep enthusiasm during this project. And I'll just say this before I go: you got to want to do it. So if you've been watching these 200 odd videos and got caught, doesn't this go on? That's nothing compared to what is involved, because these videos are just small snippets of what's involved in this. So if you see that that's a lot of videos, then you're probably best not suited to take on something of this size. But I'll talk about that in the next video or two, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate everything. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get updates on when I release another video. All right, cheers guys, have a good evening, bye.